Good, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, good night. This is Bongversarions episode number 45 on the
Mm.
28th of September. In my end, of course, it's the
Yep.
27th for Dave,
27th on my
uh,
side, yeah.
which is number nine. What a coincidence that the episode
Yeah.
will always reflect the date. I don't know why that happens. It's not planned; it just happens. Dave J, how are you? And what are you going to do
Yeah.
today to blow
Well,
the
doing
minds
well.
of the public?
Yeah, doing well, Rick. Today is in 45. And the first thing you would think of, I was speaking with Linda earlier, and she, of course, when I said that I was doing 45 tonight with you, she mentioned Trump. And that's the first, because
Yes.
Trump, of course, would be the 45th president. Okay, and also then the 47th, which is your 9/11, and that goes back to the hat. Most know that. So if now we're just looking tonight at the nine, so you're really looking at 45, or the door before senses. Kind of what then is the idol. The nine is always the idol. The nine is what, when you push it over, becomes time, or 69. So when you have that nine that's standing up, and you push it over, and it starts to roll, as time starts to travel forward, that's how you can visualize the 69. You can see it kind of manifesting itself as time rotates. So then here's something that's also kind of a bookend. Now, from the beginning of all this, we started with one, and we were working through through nine, and then we were talking about the 10 being the input, the output. So you have these nine numbers. The idol is the manifestation of the idea that you either concern your time with or you don't. Well, 1 plus 2 plus 3 all the way through plus 9 equals then 45. So that's your first indicator. So when you say 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 equals 45. So
Wow.
there's your 9.
There you
So
go.
now we've made a complete cycle from the beginning. Now this is that complete cycle we've made. It's also called the ninth triangle number. So now we've managed this. If you're dealing with a specific idea or a story that's given to you in life, this is at the point to where you have more than enough information to either continue with it or to completely dismiss it, meaning drop it. Because as you know, when we first started the show at one, we were talking about, through this whole series, we were going to talk about the idea or the thought and just stop it, freeze it in time, and then just expand it. And that's what we've been doing every episode. So really, time stands still as we look at each one of these numbers. Because
Fabulous.
45, yeah, 45 also then ties into a lot of different kind of number or names that you'll probably know: string theory, M theory, multiverse type theories.
Yep.
All of these theories are trying to explain what is known as the fifth dimension. All right, which is going to be the we just talked about before we started, the 45 in reverse, the 54, or
Yep.
the 5D, the fifth dimension. So this place that it's like, even if you want to think about it right now, you can project. If you just take a minute, you can project an image in front of your eyes in space, and you can hold it with your hand if you allow your imagination to do that. So then what is that space that's outside of your body, but also is being controlled by, of course, your mind or your brain, you know, that mind. So you're able to project those things. That's the fifth dimension. And
Interesting.
then as far as that fifth dimension, it's also called the sphere of influence. So if that fifth dimension is what you share and I share and anyone shares with somebody else, the influence, it'd be, otherwise it would be influence. So then if I say something and you get then enveloped in that sphere of influence, or fifth dimension, that space, then you are also then combined with it. And then if you put out, then that's what allows that then idea or knowledge or understanding to then spread. That's how any information is spread through the fifth dimension. It's spread through.
Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting that
Mm-hmm.
the band, the Fifth Dimension, had the
Mm-hmm.
Age of Aquarius hit from the
Mm-hmm.
movie, the musical Hair, in
Mm.
'69. So Age of
Mm-hmm.
Aquarius and Fifth Dimension ties in,
Yeah.
guaranteed. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so yeah, so we're always dealing with. You also have this in 1919, and here's kind of where it goes back to the 45 idea, as far as let's say a weapon. Now the famous pistol, the 45 pistol,
Yep.
is also then of course 45. Now the 45 pistol has been through, let's just say, we talked about last week, or maybe the week before, about movies using that type of weapon, but in the 45 is used. I want to say one of the, or the 45 caliber. You have
Colt
what's called the
45.
Colt.
Yep.
You have the Colt 45, which is kind of
Every
the
cowboy
first
movie.
one.
Every
Yeah,
cowboy
yeah,
movie.
yeah, and then you have the ACP, which is the magazine fed kind of the 45 idea, which has many different type of models, different type of looking uh, handguns, but they all basically operate the same way, and then they use the same 45 ACP ammunition. So then that's kind of but that ties back to this guy named, or this theory called Kaluza-Klein, KK, or 1111. Kaluza-Klein is really just, it deals with what became, or is known as string theory, or grand unification theory, unified field theory, theory of everything, like
Yeah.
what's called
Notice
F
that that's
theory, all that
all
stuff.
yeah, all part of the mainstream Hollywood right now, with
Right.
the everything all at once, that movie, and the Marvel movies, always going on about
Hmm.
this multiverse and string theory
Right.
type stuff. Yeah.
And then how this is manifest, if you ever see when they'll show you a CERN model, the Higgs boson type model,
Yeah.
they'll show you this, what looks like a cylinder, fragmenting, and then what looks like a spaghetti emanating from a center point. And what that's mimicking, or what that's showing you, is the impact of light on a target. Now the target is some sort of metal we've talked about, whether it be gold, platinum, X-ray. The target is important to the one who sees the results. However, what the light's hitting, it will still manifest a reflection, or let's just say almost like a rainbow, if you can think of it that way.
Yeah.
Within that, within that light, or that separation of light, is all these different new technologies, new ideas, X, Y. That's where technology comes from. We've already talked about that, but that's entering, or peeking into the multiverse, which is that space that I already told you about, where you can imagine something, and you can see it if
Yeah.
you allow yourself to do it. However, in that same space, though, is all creation. So anything that can be created is already there. You just have to access it. And then that's really what, so while they have all these different theories or stories that kind of will put uh, angels and demons, and these idea of portals, and physical monsters and things like that, that's to kind of lead away from the idea that you're going into these spaces, but the demons you're looking at, and the angels, are in fact light. In fact, they're born from light. Therefore, the 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 echoes you see from light, that those are your angels and demons, and that through manifestation. Let's say the 45th so-called demon in the books, or the Lesser Key of Solomon, would be vine, or 45. Right? Now you've heard, now vine is the idea, if you have fruit hanging off, it's going to be hanging off the vine. So then the fruit is really it's the lifeline, or the backbone of this fruit
So
bearing
Vine is a
XYZ.
VINE. That is the
VINE,
name.
yeah.
That is the name of the
Yep.
45th demon. Right.
Yeah. And what's interesting about vine is you've heard this before. It's because Christ tells you, and this is where it's interesting in Scripture, where Jesus says, he makes a point to say, I am the true vine. Not he doesn't say I am the vine. He says I am the true vine. That means that there's another vine out there that's
Right.
pretending.
Yeah.
All right?
Gotcha.
So he
Yeah.
specifically states I am the true vine in John 15, 1 through it's right there in 15 or John 15. Read verses 1 through 5 for kind of context. But to move on from that, so that you can see then that there's a vine character that's out there, that he's saying that that one's name is vine too, but I am the true vine, because the power of this vine is one that can tell you kind of the past, present, and the future, kind of, sort of, in a very limited way.
Is this why the word divine
Right?
is created?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You divine from that.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So yeah, because everything has an opposite. If you have if you have a positive manifestation, you will have to have a negative reflection manifestation. This is what that is. So it's the lion riding the horse. It's the lion's face. It's the lion, meaning it's the lion that's moving through. So then it's also through if you're dealing kind of with the so-called abilities, it also is one that builds towers and or builds walls or destroys walls. So when you have the Trump character manifesting this wall kind of
Yeah.
spell, I'm going to build a wall. I'm going to take down a wall. I'm going to build a tower, because he's a builder too. I'm a builder of skyscrapers.
Yeah.
So these skyscrapers, walls, battlements, these are all physical manifestations of the character of these different entities. So then the men of power that are being influenced, because remember they come by the seven. So you're getting packages of 7, 7, 14, 21, 28. So depending on how many demons that these characters have in them, they will manifest these different characteristics. And by the characteristics and the different storylines attached to them, you can tell what demons are animating these characters. So Vine is the one that builds the towers, who wants to either destroy walls or build walls, who wants to disrupt the sea. Here's what's interesting about disrupting the sea. The disrupting the sea, like the Holy See, is the sea of the government. You'll notice that the Trump character just went to the UN and disrupted the sea.
Big time.
Yeah. So you can see that this is just one of the aspects. Because remember, I told you, like, the Satan character, or the false input that goes into men's mind. If you take one and you drop it and it breaks into 72 pieces, that's what this grimoire is trying to explain in different form. It's saying if you took a mirror and that represents Satan, the reflection, the false reflection, and it's dropped and it breaks into 72 pieces or characteristics, then each one of those pieces, it's given a name and its specific attributes, abilities. Some will reflect and cross over, but then all put together, it comes back together to create one, which is the Satan, or say the Satan. If you think Satan, when you say it out loud, SAY10, you're saying
Yeah.
the false input output, or you're saying the true input output. So so it depends on how you say it. It depends on how you see it. So then you see that. So that's how the 45 works in with the Vine character, and also how then now if you go to John 15, that the reason that it says I am the true vine, now you know why there's that word true there,
Yeah.
because it's an affirmation that without a reason it doesn't make much sense. But now that you know that there's another character who's going by that name, now it makes sense. So if you look at like 45, just in how ideas are used on the 45, you don't have to go any farther than the record, the 45 record.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And the
45 or 33, one of the two.
well, you have the 45 is your main single. That's what was
Yep.
sent out to the people. That's where it was all put out.
Yep.
Across the board, 45 over the years. You also got to the point where you had, remember the little 45, you had to put the little center puck
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep,
So
yep.
that so you can, yeah,
Yep.
and 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 there's no prizes. They're 7 inches across. No prizes.
Yeah. And the
No
first
prizes.
version was 78 RPM, which of course forms the number 15, isn't it? So it was 78. Yeah,
Yeah,
15.
yeah, yeah. So
So number
so then
six.
you have, well, yeah, because the standard, just going to the standard, uh, it it replaced the 78. So we're just talking about the 45 right now
Yep, yep,
total.
yep.
So the 45 itself measures 7 inches. Now some of the some of the songs you would have heard that came out on 45 are some of those that are going to be then used still today. Let's say, so in the 60s, what did you have? You had the twist, which is still,
Rock
and
around
a
the
lot
clock.
of the, yeah, a lot of these are going to be put, because these are singles put out. So then these are the ones who are going to be sent to the record shops. They're going to be also ones sent to the radio, but they're also going to be used at events. Let's say for like in the what would it be? What was that song that they sang? It, they use it like, well, like Black and Black. It was released on 45 ACDC. When they want to move, an album might not move, but a single might move.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
It was
if you
incredibly
need,
important. Yeah.
yeah. So you put these certain singles out. So Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Not everything's put out on 45, but certain ones are. You could, like Let It Be was put out on 45, and
Yeah,
then of
which is
course
unusual
Jackson.
for the Beatles.
Yeah.
Very
Mm-hmm.
unusual. Beatles didn't put out a lot of 45.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Let It Be. What else was put out by? Well, yeah, ABC by the Jackson Five. ABC. And it's like, man, and then everybody's, oh, he's so good, he's so good. And then then you have Ice Ice Baby was put out on 45. I find that interesting because that's still, that's that's one of those where it's played so much just by itself. You're not going to want to sell the whole album. You're just going to be selling those singles,
Yeah.
you know. And then especially with the kind of the when people were bringing vinyls back, 45s came back, and in fact, what were some of those ones that they came out in the reintroduction? Uh, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd came out. I want to say that, and that was
That
a
was that
terrible song. It was
was a terrible
terrible.
song, but
Yeah,
that was used big time for the
yeah,
COVID for
yeah.
some reason. I don't
Uh,
know why,
and it
but it
was,
was.
yeah, it was put out on 45, and it was also put out on 45 so it could be easily passed around
Yeah.
and just played. It's like, play this. There's no 7 8 tracks you got to skip through and balance the needle. It's just play this, boom. And then you had Flowers by Miley Cyrus, and then I think there was a Harry Styles song put out too in the 20, I think 2022, sometime around there. These and it's meant specifically to be these so-called global smashes, because that's the easiest way to kind of get things out and about. You know, so then if you look then across just throughout time, you'll see like Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi in '86. That was another one. Like a Virgin, Billie Jean, Call
Oh
Me by
yeah,
Blondie.
yeah,
These are all,
all these big hits.
yeah. And so that's why you're wondering when you see these albums, like, man, you never heard of most of the songs on it because you just kept getting fed the ones that were sent out for this reason to become these hits. Now that Living on the Prayer came out, or at least the 45 in '86,
Yep.
I went in the Navy in '87, so I saw Bon Jovi play in Los Angeles in 1986. I saw them play Slippery When Wet, I want to say, tour.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then and Cinderella opened up for him when I saw him.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, that
There's
was
there's enough.
Cinderella, and they even did the old flipping the guitar around. You know how they would
Yeah.
do the two of them would flip the guitar around. Yeah, they
Yeah.
did all that stuff. Oh, and that was actually Slippery When Wet has a video attached to it. And if you go to the video and watch it, you know when Bon Jovi's out there slinging over the crowd on the cables, that was filmed in L.A. That was filmed at the concert I was at because he was slinging
Wow.
around on the cables. Yeah, that was quite a show. And then
Yeah, well, they did the Van Halen style, big concert arena, big, lots of wires and tricks and jumps and explosions.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then so also in kind of games, I was thinking kind of within games you have let's say soccer. Most people know football they would call it football, but in the
Yes,
United States it's called soccer because football is called football in the U.S.
that's right. Soccer here as well.
Yeah, soccer. So and that of course is two halves of 45 minutes. So and then of course totaling your 90, and then within the middle, kind of like you said before, with the 78 where it equals the 15, you have your 15-minute halftime break,
Yep.
which kind of is how all that kind of
Oh, and look,
you
the
know
more that we talked about baseball, but I
yeah,
think you would have
it
to
all rolls
analyze
into each
every.
other.
Yeah, they all
Yeah,
roll into each other. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, they sure do. So and speaking of which, I was talking with somebody earlier. I want to say, and the subject of roller derby came up. And I was thinking, well, roller derby also fits within the 45. Now, do you know what roller derby is, right? Where they
Yes.
skate around on a so. Okay, well, roller derby. There's a couple different kinds of skates. Well, what you have is you have what's called what are they called? They're called
Inline is inline, and the four skates. There's
well,
ones
you
with.
have the double action. You have the action plates, and
Okay.
that allow on your wheels.
Yeah.
Now, if you have your wheels that they kind of adjust back and forth, you're going to have like a 20 and guess what? The 45. The 45 the 45 degree is meant for the player who's called the jammer. All right. Now the jammer is the one who can score points. So if you ever watch roller and you see that they have the helmets on and you see they're skating around, there's going to be one with a star on their helmet. Well, the one with the star on their helmet's the only one who can score. There's going to be one with a stripe on their helmet, and they're called the pivot. Now what happens is the one with the star on their helmet has to get around the circle, pass everybody, and then on the second time around they get a point for every blocker they pass. That's kind of how that works. And then and of course the rest is the blockers by almost any means necessary just try to take out the jammer, with elbows and everything else.
Yeah, no, interesting
And
sport. You don't see it. Is it still
yeah.
around?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there
it's
you go.
still around. And there's a if you want to kind of see a TV show that highlights it and has a few yucks in there, a few laughs, you can watch the season 3, you guessed it, episode 7 of Psych, which is a kind of a TV show that takes place in Santa Barbara, California. It's like a detective comedy, and it's called Talk Derby to Me, where the Juliet, the detective lady, goes undercover as a roller derby chick
There,
to
there,
try and
there
bust
was
the
a
kind of
70s movie with, I think, Raquel
yeah.
Welch actually
Mm-hmm.
starring in it. I can't remember if I'm imagining this, but it was about the roller derby. It was pushing the game to the public. Um, Probably
Oh yeah.
73, 74.
In 72,
Could be.
she Kansas City Bomber,
That's it.
where she played roller. Yeah, she played she was number 11.
Ha ha ha.
No, number 11. Now 9/11. So yeah, so there you go. There's your 9/11. And a nice way
Fabulous.
to connect the 11 in there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, she plays the 11. Yeah. So then within this so if you watch that show, it'll kind of also it gives now you kind of know what the head what the star on the helmet's for and all that. There is one move though that you'll say if you have the star on the helmet, so you're the jammer and you're going around and you can't get it, you can to the pivot, the one that's got the or actually pretty much anyone. If you have to then give up the star off your helmet, you got to swap it with somebody else on your team, and then can become the jammer. But
Wow.
once you give it up, you're stuck with them for the remainder of the match. So you can't so you're stuck with them
Well,
after
there you
that.
go.
Well, I shouldn't say match. It's called a bout in roller derby. Each game is called a bout, and each round is called a jam. GAMS, like a jam. So each jam, and you have
There's got to be something in
five on.
there's got to be something in that
Yeah,
this jam business because
yeah.
basketball seems to be full of the same and music jamming. There's obviously there's a there with that word. I haven't
Jam's
looked at
always
it, but
about getting more there faster. Faster than to
yeah,
jam it in.
yeah,
Yeah. So then that's kind of how the where the 45 works in is because the jammer has to go up and down as from top to bottom on the oval faster than the let's say a blocker. So if you're a blocker, you might wear 20-degree shoes or skates. So because you're trying to be more stable, but as a jammer, you want those 45s.
fantastic. Well, the things you learn
Yeah,
on a
for
Bongversation, the things that you can learn on a Bongversation.
yeah, the things you can learn. Yeah. So then I was uh, within the to go back to the nine, just the nine in general. You have it's the place to where if one you can cast your mind back into, let's say, past memories, but they're subject to unseen influences and prejudices, meaning that if you still have in your mind tainted information, that when an event brings you back to a position in that imagination or that fifth dimension, that space, you're not gonna be in the correct mindset. You're gonna be off put because you have one of your stepping stones, one of your thoughts or quote unquote beliefs is in fact wrong.
Right.
So you keep that in mind as well. So somehow at some point uh, you you fell for a false light. Now, remember with the idea of pH, before I even get to that, I was going to say the Terminator has a 45. A lot of movies kind of have 45s, but there's something different about him. He has I want to say he has an AMT hardballer, which is it's like a long slide 45. It's the one you see on the movie poster.
Yeah.
That's got a 7-inch barrel. Seven. You guessed it. Yeah, yeah, you guessed it, man. But a lot of we talked about last week as far as the comic book movies using a specific type of weapon,
Yeah, we talked
collateral,
about
saving prep.
we talked about particularly the Marvel movie. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
did anyway. The Black Widow that runs around with the two Glock handguns,
Yeah,
which
the two Glocks, yeah, and Saving Private Ryan has a scene I know what that highlights. A lot of those era scenes will highlight the the 1911
yeah,
uh, A1 type of thing. John Wick also, at
oh
least in
yeah,
chapter two, yeah, will have it as well.
yeah,
And then Scarface, a lot of them use it in Scarface for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Guaranteed. Yeah. So then, here's something you'll find interesting in the Kaluza Klein. Remember we talked about Kaluza Klein, which is a theory which goes into all the stuff about kind of string theory and the rest. What's interesting is if you put those two words together, and that's your KK, that's your 1111,
Yep.
and it also ties back to 1919, which is going to be your 1010 or two concern. Guess what's right in that word? But alkaline.
Oh, that's your
Now
pH.
alkalines,
pH.
yeah, that's your pH.
Yep.
Now, guess where your so the human body or human blood pH is anywhere above. Well, it's going to be above 7. It's going to be like 7.35 to 7.45, somewhere right in there, just above 7. So what this is talking about is that you cannot enter this place. This what this theorem's talking about is that you cannot enter this place until you have a specific require or you have a certain pH. You have to be a living man or woman.
Yep.
So your pH, if your pH isn't at this level, the system isn't. You can't actually get into that spiritual realm.
It's
Meaning
interesting.
that
Yeah,
yeah.
ayahuasca. They tell
Mm-hmm.
you if you to do it properly, you have to remove all salt out of your system for a month before you
Mm.
do it. There'll be and that's because of the spiritual realm, apparently,
Mm.
which could be doing something to do
Yeah.
with pH.
Well, yeah. Well, if you go then from below 7, you're moving into, because the pH scale. Let's say it's 0 through 14. Well,
Yeah,
that's 2 sevens. That's 7 to 14. Guess what? Normally, you're right at just at 7 or above. You're right slightly above, because seawater, interestingly enough, is from 7 to, let's say, 8.3 or so. That's seawater. Seawater is interesting because you're salt water. So
yeah.
then guess what? That's your 7. So if you're saying you have to remove the salt, then you're looking to get below that. You're looking to get more acidic.
That's
Is that
it.
is
Yeah,
that
no,
what's
well,
no?
that's what they're saying. Yeah, and this is apparently a must. If I'm talking about people that are doing the proper one, rather than these backyard
Mm-hmm.
ones that are around. But yeah, it said salt must be
Well,
removed before you do it.
the thing about salt being removed is that's also, and I would say that this is going to be directly tied in, is that salt is the barrier used to not only repel but to contain these demonic thoughts,
Yeah.
these powers
Oh,
that we're
that's what I
talking
said. As
about.
soon as I heard that, I thought
So,
straight away. That's why we've
mhm.
got media telling you to get rid of salt out of your diet to allow more possession on the planet.
Well, it's also allowing, yeah, it's changing that blood-brain barrier, which I talked about earlier. Some haven't spoken about the BBB. You'll hear it with the Build Back Better and all that
Yep,
type of
yep,
stuff.
yep, yep.
But you have what's the blood-brain barrier, which is if you inject something, it can then pass from the blood to the brain.
Yeah,
There's that it can make that switch.
yep,
Now that's where I would say your injections come in,
for sure.
because it's dealing with a BBB type of
They
interaction.
keep using these BBB, which is
Yeah.
666, or BBB is
Yeah.
6.
Mm-hmm.
Either way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And plus they call it the blood-brain barrier, so BBB. They put it right in the old.
Oh,
That's what it's called in the medical books. You know.
yep. The triple
So that,
B.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's all right there.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, and I was thinking the also within the Klein theory, I was gonna put in a video, and I'll do it when I do the YouTube video, but kind of that CERN GIF that I've used before, and I'll also put in when I did the 4:1 experiment, because
Yeah,
that's exactly what this talking. It's because now guess what we're talking about, because now when we move to 46, because the 45 is the 9. All right, so now this is the idle. This is the impact, and now there's this idea that's presented to you in full bloom. And now the 46 is the idea of the 10, or that's the IO point. That's where you're sitting on the fence. You're either going to move with it or you're going to dismiss it. And then that's where of course you move into the 47, the sun sign, the 11, all this stuff we already know. As you break it down, you already know what the answer is.
yeah, yeah.
But then now you know what the 47 idea is, and why, when all these different type of religions or cults or whatnot use the swastika or the sun sign,
Yeah,
it's always with the knowledge that the person viewing it knows that's in motion.
yeah,
It's not. It's representing a motion. It's not representing four what seemingly looks like 4 sevens put together in a sign. It's representing a system or a thought in motion.
yeah,
That's what it's actually representing. Now, once you see that, instead of that sign saying, "Oh, that's a sun sign," that's what that means. Okay, well, if that sun sign's on you, the sign that it's on, whether it be a building or a place, that place now is offering you the rest of it,
yeah.
all the way
That's
down to all the way down to one.
The Hindu
Yeah.
and Nazi part, the supposed Nazi party.
Well, Ashkenazi is the
Yeah,
Nazis. That's something be, that's something that your grandpappy should have told you. Is that there was a time where these Ashkenazi Jews pretended to be Nazis, pretended to put themselves in the gas chambers, told the whole frickin' world that they had a Holocaust, and they've been ruining people's lives ever since. Yeah, since even before that, over something that where nobody died, nobody got hurt, because you can't have. And in fact, I was speaking with a guy. He's on my Discord, but he's a German speaker, and he will tell you if you ask him that Ashkenazi means from German.
Yeah, you see, I
It's
think
not
did
as
you
if it's hidden.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think we
it,
talked about that maybe, but that's interesting.
yeah. It's not hidden. It's everything's right there. It's in. You can't say Ashkenazi without saying Nazi.
Yeah,
You know,
it's just an
you shouldn't have to
abbreviation.
go too far.
It's
You
an
couldn't.
abbreviation
Yeah,
of it. Yeah.
yeah. You shouldn't have to go too far to put this stuff together.
No, yeah,
But you have grown men.
it's in
You
your
have
face.
grown men.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have grown men of age, of even age of being grandfathers, who have not witnessed to their children that where they live and what this place is,
Yeah.
and how they can simply take the words used and present it to them by this place and break it down and see what they're telling you.
Yeah.
All right? Because they give you these stories that are so
And the
fancy,
fourth seven's
and there's
1228,
it,
which is the
it,
10, which is your IO,
it,
which is your
yeah,
Satan. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And also, the thing is, like, to me, I always look at it in so many ways. You have the 4 plus the 5 is the 9. You have the 4 minus the or 5 minus the 4, which is your 1. So you keep it positive. That's your one idea. That's your 19. That's
Yeah.
your metonic cycle.
Yep.
So that's everything's going to break down, because you have to remember, we were talking early, that this is not something that you take from this point and look forward into, like, kind of all this is stacked. This is all stacked up, 0 to 9. It's like they're all just towers that collapse. It's like a sine wave, boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 and so as long as you remember that, then you can dismiss it at the point. Like I say, at this point, you have one of two choices. You can just then break it down and show people, hey, here's what's happening with the story, and here's what's going to happen. And then once they see it for what it is, hopefully that's enough for them to get out of the hole, the pit, or
Yep.
this kind of need where there's scripture that talks about a dog returning to its own vomit. It's the idea of a dog or a god, a fallen man,
The
returning
inverse
to
of
their own.
God, dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Returning to their own vomit. So meaning that they're like a human centipede. They're existing on their own their own excretion,
Excrement. Yeah.
excrement out of their mouth and other orifices. But that's what they're existing on. They don't know. If you ask them, they'll tell you they don't know. In the
No,
words
that's
they
right.
use. In the
Yeah, I
words they
don't
use,
know.
they'll start a sentence. I don't know, Rick, but the multi-universe theory states that this is happening, but I don't know. At that point, you say, okay, then you don't know. Then I'm not going to listen to you,
That's right. So
because yeah,
this is literally though, and I'm talking about, my own children that have
right,
that had this stuff rammed into them via Hollywood. This
uh-huh,
and everything everywhere all at once, which is a huge movie 2 years ago, and your string theory, which is and multiverse, which is all
oh yeah,
through the Marvel movies, all through them, and they know it, and they don't understand that it's been weaponized and put into their head as something completely different. That you can go and change everything, that you exist in an unlimited amount of other universes at the same time. This is utter rubbish, but it's
yeah.
being pushed. It's being pushed.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, yeah, and that's the whole kind of idea about going into the AI, or the projected reality of VR,
Yep.
because you then will exist in a place that's more preferable, feelings wise, than this hellscape that you find yourself in.
Yeah.
But however, the only way out of this place is to face it, directly. And it's also to know, and here's another thing to know, that these characters on the screen, whether it be in movie, TV, or politics, or all these different carnivals that go on, none of them are here to help you out. None of
No.
them are going to save you. That in
No.
fact, they have nothing to do with you. You got to be like on the airplane where you put your mask on first. You got to take care of yourself first, and then you got to take care of those that you claim you love, your neighbors, all right, whether they be family related or your actual neighbors. And you do that by not lying to them. Simply, that's all. It's
Simple.
very simple. That's it. That's all
People
you have to do.
and the
And then,
hardest and it's the hardest thing for people to accept the truth. They'll do anything to avoid it.
mhm.
Anything to avoid it.
And also, if you don't know, it's no harm, no foul if you don't know. Just
Yeah.
ixnay, quiet. Don't it, the idea that opinion has allowed to been is allowed to come out as somehow knowledge. Opinion is not knowledge; it's simply just words you manage to put together.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, in the end, it's like you have to be able to present something that stands alone, meaning that once I present this, I walk away and it stands by itself. It doesn't need me as a lie would to exist, because a lie needs constant refreshing of detail.
Yep.
Now, did you say this, that, and the other thing? Oh, no, it's this, that, and the other. Once you place the truth, it's there. You boom. The next guy walks up, looks at it, observes it, tests it, finds it to be true. It's true, and then the next. That's how that works. But there's a big difference, and it's very easily confused. Very easily confused.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, man. So what are you thinking about all of that?
Oh, I just think it's fantastic. So putting it all together, and this Vine business. See, I haven't
Yeah.
read that book that you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
the Keys of Solomon. I'm going to have to.
Oh, Lesser Kia, yeah.
Lesser Key of
It's,
Solomon.
I mean, it's something that it's. Oof, how can I explain the reading of it? With most of these grimoires, it's one, you're going to see Jesus Christ mentioned a lot more than you would expect, especially in a lot of the like the darker ones, because I won't give it away, but the reason that they are is that they're trying to kind of burn candles on both ends. It's like we want to talk to these guys, but we're also saying, hey, Jesus Christ, don't hold it against us.
Yeah.
Do you see how so a lot of these are trying to have it both ways. They know where the power is, but they're like, hey, we want to go screw around in here anyway, kind of without you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. They all
You
also,
know,
you see, you beat, if you look into theosophy and
yeah,
areas like that, they're always talking about this Christ that's coming, this light Christ. They
well,
mention the name, but
yeah.
it's not the same person that you might be thinking of, as far as I can work
Well,
out.
well, you have an antichrist character, which is everything that's been going on now with the Trump character and the movements across the plane of existence are all manifesting in bringing in a one world leader,
Yeah, absolutely. He
a,
says
a
it. He said it.
peacemaker.
He said it plainly. If you listen to his speech
Hmm.
at the United Nations, where he said, he said the United Nations, they're not doing the right job, but it's a good concept, and there should be another. This bring everyone together. He almost said this. We need a new white light leader to come through with 1,000 points of light. He
Right.
didn't say that, but you could hear him nearly saying the United Nations is not doing what it's supposed to do. It meant to
Right.
bring everyone together, and we all know who the United Nations white light runner, is. The whole
Right.
the whole the whole setup is, from Annie Besant, etc. Back in the early days, they keep talking about
Well,
this
yeah.
white light, this Christ
Uh,
character.
yeah. Well, you have you've seen this before with the League of Nations.
Yep.
Comes up, goes away. The so-called UN is the thing. The UN's going to go up, go away, and this next thing, because things move very fast now.
Oh yeah.
When years ago it might take months or a year to kind of have something come to fruition. Here, they'll have a story come out, they'll have a trial started, they'll have a they'll have a judgment, they'll have a thing,
Boom, boom,
all
boom.
before you know it.
Yep.
And it's like, boom, yeah, it's like so they'll have this, everything's already kind of already done. It's just a matter of announcing it to the viewing audience. You know,
It's very,
everything's
very,
already in the
it's
mix.
very
Yeah,
close at the moment. I can just hear having been
yeah,
trying to been into this for 40. I think it's 42 years this year that I first read
yeah.
into the United Nations, et cetera, when I was very young. That everything that I read about, though, I can hear it in the speeches. I can hear them. They're just about to say, we need this global leader that's going to, someone's got to materialize eventually that's going to offer the solution. It couldn't be Donald Trump, surely. It's got to be someone that
Yeah, it's
everyone
like
likes.
he's got like he's the golden
The
child,
golden
the
child, the golden towels, the golden
the
toilet.
precursor,
He's got a
the
golden toilet.
precursor kind of the yeah, the announcer. Yeah, like the pre-announcement to the announcement.
Yeah. He's got a shekel named after him. They struck a shekel for Donald Trump. So I just don't think he's rolling it out though, big time. He's definitely saying the right things for this whole thing.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah, the well, here's the thing. Also, this is to the point now. If someone's paying attention long enough, and I would say 5 minutes is long enough, but let's just say for a couple of years they've been paying attention, and they've noticed that none of these stories have brought any type of real action in their life, in any type of
No,
meaningful. Uh, so what happens is, okay, so then if they'll go ahead and put all that together, and if they can just expand their minds to take in let's say the last 50 years, especially on war and things like that, the war cycle, and just look at how this place uses a simple word, and just the use of that word and a few associated images will have the average mind invent the rest of the movie.
yeah,
They'll have Saving Private Ryan playing in their head, but just with more advanced weapons or X, Y, or Z. But that's what they have going on in their head. They only need a very small seed of an idea because they've been programmed,
they've been
for lack of a
programmed
better
from
term,
TV, from
already. Yeah,
Battlestar Galactica to
yeah,
blah 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 to to V, the TV show.
yeah.
Everything's been pushed into the psyche of the public.
Well, you notice that in all these stories, there's always this huddled mass idea, this
Yeah.
huddled mass of these so-called citizens, and you have to wonder who they are, to where we're leaving this place and we're going to this other place, and it's like, last ditch. If this fails, everyone's gone, and you're still going to sit there like you can't do anything. You're going to still sit there holding that baby and acting like a huddled mass, and then the whole series is about how we're all protecting this little huddled useless mass.
Yep.
These people who can't help themselves. That's what it's always about, helping these helpless this helpless core.
Yep.
So what and that's even in this kind of in so-called life, where if you worry too much about those who are not going to even try to help themselves, you're wasting your time,
Yep.
because all they will do is consume you. They
Yep.
were, you drag them out finally for the fourth or fifth time. You're like, man, have you not learned your lesson yet? Let me see what's under that little, towel. That's just a log. That's not a baby. Give me that thing. Get to work. Get out of here. You pretending. Get out of here.
But
It's like this
all
huddled.
these shows, from Space 1999, the British one, that was the same. It's always
Yeah.
a core group of survivors that that hurtle through the universe, bumping into different aliens and creatures. Star Trek, um, all of them, they've got this
Yeah.
Battlestar, the Galactica, etc. The same story being retold every time.
And just the different this and just the different aliens in the actual in where you exist now is simply traveling. When you go from country to country, just the idea of new customs you don't know
Yeah,
about, or
yeah,
and that's really what that's talking about. Just
yeah.
in the but the fact is that if it's told to you like that, the introduction of the space hoax, the space traveling hoax, all those
Mm,
hoaxes can't be reinforced on the daily, because all those shows not only are they giving you just the simplistic storyline of survival, but they're also at the same time, the entire episode and the entire season is reinforcing this idea of space travel.
Yes.
And so really it's like
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
it's all
etc.,
it's like
etc.,
yeah,
etc.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you have to be careful and kind of where where you allow your mind to flow or to go to,
Yeah, not and
especially when
don't treat these shows as your religion, which a lot of people do. I mean, there's
mm-mm,
Trekkies and it's Doctor Who, etc. These people literally want that to be true. They actually believe
right.
it's their religion now, and that's why we've got Comic Con and these big science fiction fairs going off everywhere, and there are kids dressing up as their favorite hero, and they've lost their own identity. They'd rather dress up as some loser from some weird show that they've been obsessed with. But this is going on,
Right.
and we're watching it now. The whole globe is, sorry, or the square,
The
whatever,
plane,
the
yeah,
plane, the plane.
the plane, yeah,
Boss.
yeah, boss, the plane,
Yeah.
the plane. And now Doctor Who, you were speaking of Doctor Who. I thought they had a special that had something to do with 45 as well.
May well have done. It could have been the four doctors might have been part of that one. I'm not sure, but or the five doctors.
Doctor number 7.
Well, there's now been there's well, I don't know how many. Actually, how many have they had? That'll be very interesting because there's been I've been watching it since 60, 68, 69, but
Uh huh.
there was one, two, anyway, I'm not going to count, but you'll find there'll be a number of doctors before this whole thing gets wrapped up, and it'll probably be 11.
Yeah.
I would as it get or nine. The ninth Doctor will be the end of that series, guaranteed. 9 or 11, one
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
two. Mm. Very good
Yeah.
stuff, Dave. Very good stuff.
Yeah, man. So we'll have to do a little some Doctor Who stuff. That's more of an Australia, UK thing.
Oh yeah,
Not so
yeah,
much in the
but you'd be
U.S.
surprised, Dave. You'd be surprised how many there's a lot of American thinkers that are into that show because it was a terrific
Mm.
show. I enjoyed it as a child, but there's a lot of weaponization in it, and you just witnessed the Doctor change from male to female, and then into a black homosexual in the last
Whew.
couple. So you're seeing the culture changes, the Doctor changes. Um,
Right.
it's all happening for sure.
Oh wow. Okay then.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
well worth talking
Yeah.
about. I'm no expert,
Yeah.
but I know
Yeah.
someone who is. That's for sure.
Oh, is that Rolo? Is he an expert on
Yes. Oh,
Doctor Who?
he can tell you the episode number, the director, the actress, and the actor, or the main cast right now, off the top of his head.
Oh.
Incredible. Which I enjoy because I actually am a fan of the show. Not the last 20 years of it, but the pre that really good stuff and some really good interesting stuff that'd be worth talking about. So maybe we have to do that in the future.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
for sure, man.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, sounds good. So we'll wrap it up here. We'll do
Yeah, wrap it up,
45
man.
next. We'll do
46,
46 next week.
which is the
Or the
IO
yeah, yeah
46.
yeah we're gonna be doing the input output at a kind of a different level though,
Mm,
because you saw how string theory got introduced here, but it couldn't get introduced really until you have well proper string theory states that it requires at least 10 or 11 dimensions for the mathematics to work. So that's where we're at now. So it requires 10, which is going to be of course our 64 idea, or 11, which is our 47 idea. See how it's for the next two shows that the string theory it continues because you're not looking at it in just a flat kind of a flat space. You're looking at it in kind of up, down, backwards, forward, side to side, in all aspects. Kind of like, have you ever dealt with a automotive robot, 6-axis robot with a wrist? It allows you to move all different. I used to program robots to load wafers into texturing machines at Western
fantastic.
Digital.
What a
Yeah,
clever man
and,
you are.
Yeah. So So and that was and with a 6-axis robot, you can really be quite precise, and depending on the dexterity of the endpoint, like the fingertips, you can do quite a bit of really intricate work.
Fantastic.
So yeah, what I found the easiest thing, anybody out there who's doing work with robots, the easiest way I found is that as long as there's nothing within your your resting point to your pickup point and nothing in the way, you can really just turn off your servos at your start point, set your 0 point, turn off your servo, move it to your first point, engage your servo, save that point, and then go to your finish point and do the same thing again. And that's a quick way without, you don't have to use the pendant and all that to like inch it and do all that other stuff. You basically turn off your servo. You manually with your own physical arms, you move it to where exactly you want it and turn the servos back on and record those numbers. That's your set point.
Wow.
Because remember, it's just like it. To set a robot, you have to imagine the space that it can reach in all the different directions as just an empty envelope, as just empty space. So you have to create points that it knows to go to. So it has to go to this point
Yeah.
and then break down. So that's really all you're doing. So you have to use your imagination and just imagine the path you want to see that robot arm going on, and then you just make it do it quite simply just by programming in just
Programming
the
its dimensions of
yeah, a
reach.
few points.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put a few points in, and then you can tell it to interpret the rest, meaning that it's going to interpret within the. Let's say you set point A and B and C, and then you say, oh, I want you to it needs to be smoother, so I want to add, let's say, 8 more sub points. It will just go ahead and you can just add those in to that arc, and it will,
Wow.
and by the time you turn it back on, it's nice and fluid looking.
Yep.
Moving things in and out.
Fantastic. Hey, anyway,
Yeah,
Dave, that's a really good another show that's just full of interesting things for
yeah,
these
man.
amazing people out there listening to the show. And there's lots of people listening to these shows, which is fantastic,
Oh, for sure.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
we'll be back for, I think, so episode number 40. Sorry, is it
46.
46 or 30?
46.
46. Yeah,
40. Yeah, we're 46.
40. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, 46. No,
36 was like 11 episodes ago.
oh my God.
Almost.
All
Oh,
right,
wow.
Dave.
Yeah.
Another fabulous show,
All
and
right.
thanks everyone. Be blessed out there.
All
As
right.
Dave
Yeah,
sends
everybody
out
be
the
blessed.
robot, the robot.
Yeah, we'll talk to y'all later. I just have to kick out the old robot. I just
We'll
have
be
to
back.
remember how
We'll
to.
be back, just like
We'll
that
be back.
robot said in that movie.
Yeah, we'll be. Oh, yeah, the Terminator.
Yeah,
Is that what
we'll
he
be
said?
back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.